people gravitate towards the truth. Eventually they are awoken and they're like, I want the truth. I want to work with the truth, and yeah, we have fun, but we do get deals done.
Absolutely.
We go above and beyond. Like, we don't look at a deal and say, this is kind of complicated. Go somewhere else. It's not going to happen. We're like, let's fight this right to the end. We're going to get this done. Let's find, financing for this client.
Hit it. That's what I'm talking about. Wait.
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
All right, this is Real Talk with Carmen Costa. Today, I have our new Fonthill team lead, Christian. I want to say Baranowski.
Close, Baranowski.
All night, I was like, how do I say his last name? So Rain's like, don't do it.
Close
don't
enough.
butcher it.
Close enough.
Yeah, so Christian is heading up the team out in Fonthill. Christian, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm Christian. I have been in the banking industry for many years, about a little over 7. I absolutely love the mortgage side of the business. It's what I love. There's multiple sides to the financial services world, and I always gravitated towards it. I loved it.
Okay, so Christian, you're new to this, but I saw your videos. I thought it was awesome. We sat down. When I met you, you just had the aura, like amazing aura of like a team lead, right?
Thank you.
And I don't do that with everybody. Like, you're like, oh my God, she's gonna Carmenize. This is what I talked about, Carmenized, right?
Yes.
So, but I thought you were amazing, like you as an individual, and we talk about this, it's energy.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
It's the energy, right? And that's key and important. We all know mortgages. You love mortgages. That's your passion. Mortgages is my passion, 100%. But I think everybody loses sight that this business is a human business.
People first, always.
People. So we're people, right? So, we forget about that and we are transactional. But you're not like that. You put your personal touch on it.
Right.
But there's something different about you. You're a great team lead.
Thank you.
People gravitate towards you. And, one thing Lisa said, and I lost sight of it, she's like, Carm, when we left, we parted ways. Our team came with us, right? Like 42 agents followed you. You're just that leader. You're an amazing leader. And, I thought, I'm like, Fonthill, where the hell's Fonthill? Remember?
It's so nice.
First time I drove there was to see that building that now we have an address. We'll put the address up. This is is it Vanna White? But you brought me out there and I was like, oh my God, I love this community. You were like, over here, what are the things that they do there?
Fonthill in the park every Thursday in the summer, so lots of networking opportunities. But it's a beautiful area. Like, it's just nice to go to in Fonthill. It's close to everywhere in Niagara, so I thought it was prime location, and I love it. I'm used to it. I've worked there for years.
You're just so amazing, even with the team, right? Like, Mike's there now. There's a couple of people, and it's exciting. I'm just like, wow, like just watching you communicate with them, I'm like, he's real, right? And we all want the leader that's real and transparent.
Always be you. That's what I always have said my whole life. And, some people say, you have to put on like a face or what have you when you're in certain situations. Absolutely not. I do not agree with that. Be you 100% of the time. Obviously, of course, we may be a little bit different outside of a client meeting, etc. But being you is so important, and people feel that. And when you're genuine, I don't know, that's when people follow you, and you get those referrals, and people actually trust you.
I think we were talking about this before, we lost sight of like truth and real, right? We're all robotic, right? And it's scary, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, so when somebody gets that real, they attach and they're like, I'm not letting this go, right? Because this is something that's unheard of, right? To be transparent or real, it's unheard of.
Right.
But I think, I had met Mike, and Mike said something to me, and you would have died, like, Jimmy, had you heard this. He said, oh, you're like hoity-toity. And I'm like, he clearly has not met me. Nope. I'm like, this guy has not met me at all. I'm like, no, but then he sat with me, and you could see his whole demeanor change. And what I love to see is when somebody transition into their real self,
right?
Who they actually are, and they're not put off, and they're not like, you know what I mean, uncomfortable.
How rewarding is that, though? Right?
It's amazing.
Like, and the outside world probably does think, it's going to be super serious. And yes, very serious business. Absolutely, we're dealing with
100%.
The biggest purchase or transaction, if you even want to call it that.
For sure.
For all of our clients. But we can still have fun and make it a fun team environment, and that does radiate to everybody around us.
100%, and I agree wholeheartedly.
He was so happy. He's like, oh, that was awesome. He's like, I was not expecting that, because he's lovely. Mike's you'll see him.
Awesome, yeah.
Military background, right? And very structured, and we're structured here as well.
100%, yeah.
But seeing, us behind the scenes, he felt so himself, and that is a beautiful thing, and I love that.
I do love it. And one thing I want to say is it's great to be structured. It is awesome to be structured. But here's the thing. When we're structured, we don't think outside the box.
Right.
We get worried. So I love seeing agents grow into that. An exception can be made. Fight for it, right? So we talked about that on Monday, and I love he spoke up. He's like, no, this is what it is. And I'm like, you have to think outside the box because it does get done. So just present it. Present the option. There's always exceptions to the rule, right? And
there's
it's
a story.
There's a story behind every individual. And when it comes to mortgages, I excel. I always say I'm the guru when it comes to mortgages. I don't care what anybody says, but I am also real with my team and my clients because I want my clients to be comfortable with me. So they're calling me when they're in a panic and they're not like, oh, she's uptight. I don't want to talk to her.
Right. And clear expectations.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing. Sometimes, things take time, but if you set that, expectation right away, you know what? We're probably going to hear in 4 days.
100%.
And I hate when day 4 comes and we don't hear. But
that's
a touch point. Oh, it's the worst. But a touch point, hey,
yeah.
I was hoping I'd get back to you today. I'm on it. I haven't forgotten about you. Goes a long way, right? You want to keep them always in the loop. And
for sure.
That's important to me too.
No, it's so important. And so we have this team growing out in Fonthill. I'm super excited about it. We are going to go out there, Jamie. We're going to probably do a recording out there. It's exciting, right? So, and I feel like-minded individuals always end up in the same place.
Yes. When I met you for the first time, honestly, it's a crazy story. Let's share. We met to introduce my old company to your broker network, so your agents could send deals to where I used to work. Kind of halfway through the meeting, it kind of turned into an interview, but it was awesome.
So right.
It was awesome. And we kept chatting, and I gravitated towards your energy, and I think you saw me as me. And
I loved everything about you. When I was late, so this is the running joke. I was late, 15 minutes late, because my daughter didn't want me leaving the house that day. She's like, no, I don't want. I had stepped back for 5. I'm like, I'm going to go visit the kids while I grab a coffee. I went to Coffee Cultures. I'm like, oh, it's just up the street. I'll go. My daughter did not want me leaving the house. She was tripping out. So I'm like, great. And I'm like, I feel like he'll be understanding. He's not going to be that person. So when I walked in, you're like, oh, who? And I'm like, oh, I love him already. All good. Yes. Yeah, I'm like, I love him already. But it was more about your the way you were as a leader. I'm like, this guy has no idea the potential, the vast potential that you have being an entrepreneur and doing things on your own. The world is at your fingertips, and this opportunity is going to help you expand and grow. And people, and I'm saying this 2022 to 2023, people want the truth.
Right.
They want good leaders who are honest to their face. They're not, misleading them. They're not looking over their shoulder. This is going to be a new trend, right? And every time I hear it, Jamie, I think we said this the other day, I'm like, we've been doing this for how long? 5 years? We've been doing this forever. So if you think this is a new trend, being honest and, working in a brokerage that's so transparent, that's been my whole mantra starting this brokerage, right? The reason why we started this brokerage was that's where, you have a bad experience and you're like, I don't want this for anybody else. And, like I said to you guys, vision boards are important. So we started off with, I looked at my original vision board. I'm like, 15 people. We're up to 46 people, right? This is amazing, right? It's a blessing because people gravitate towards the truth. Eventually they are awoken and they're like, I want the truth. I want to work with the truth, and we have fun, but we do get deals done.
Absolutely.
We go above and beyond. We don't look at a deal and say, this is kind of complicated. Go somewhere else. Later. It's not going to happen. We're like, let's fight this right to the end. We're going to get this done. Let's find, financing for this client. And we're always open to building partnerships with, lenders.
Right.
We're always, that.
Yes.
So, I just feel completely blessed, Christian, you chose to, when you were like, yeah, for sure. I was like, Oh my gosh.
Well,
this is amazing.
It's changed my life, and it really, truly has. I've known nothing different than the 9 to 5.
Now you're getting a dog. I'm so excited.
I know I am tonight. I'm so excited at 3 o'clock. She's so cute. And
he's not letting me see the dog until he trains the dog.
Yeah, I have to train it. That's going to be fun. But I have the time kind of now, you know?
Yeah.
But I have support.
Well, you work from home, right? Like, and that's what I say to you guys. You guys have, everybody's like, do I have to come into the office? I'm like, if you want, like you can, but you can, there's a work-life balance we can have doing this. And here's the thing, not for nothing. I'm available to my clients all the time.
Absolutely.
Right?
I work every day now.
I work every day,
every single
all
day.
the time, every hour, because, my clients, like Saturday, I was working with a client because I'm like, I took it easy because I wasn't feeling good Friday, but Saturday I was back at it working, all day, right? Because I could be outside. I could be hanging in my chair, my beautiful chair. We're going to put a picture up.
Okay. All right.
Christian's like, what's going on?
All right.
This is where you and then he puts up a picture. So, and that's what I mean. Like we do that, but I wanted to bring you on. I know you were like, should I put a post? And I'm like, we did do posts. Here's the thing. And I want to say this, and the team laughs about this because Shannon's like, why can't we showcase agents? I'm like, because that's where recruiters go and take our agents.
Gotcha.
Every time you list them, I'm like, I know what you're doing, recruiters. You're like looking at my page and you're like nitpicking my people, right? So I honestly believe wholeheartedly we're growing at a good pace and, we're growing with the right people.
Right. I agree. And
right?
You like to meet everybody, and I really truly believe the way you feel when you're with somebody goes so far. You can learn so many things, but you cannot train somebody to be who they are. And you are so, and I'm always like that. I really, my big thing, I told you this, and everybody that's worked with me and knows me closely knows my light air philosophy. And everyone's like, what does that mean, light air? When you walk in a room and you can feel tension?
100%.
It's the number one opposite. And that, I literally have a tattoo of a little feather for light air on me. Like, it's just what I believe in, truly. And when you understand somebody instead of making judgment first, when they are being themselves, you grow to understand that that's just them, and you can appreciate that.
Layers,
right?
It's
so crazy. And sometimes it takes time, right? You have to say, okay, wait a minute here. Different than me, but let me process. Let me try to understand. And then when
See what I mean, Jamie?
I don't know. And then when you get...
We literally just talked about this on the podcast before, is removing the layers and not judging people and accepting them for who they are.
Just understand.
I love it.
Yes. Celebrate our strengths, understand our differences, and that's why I'm here. I gravitated towards you, and I love the business. Complex mortgages, anything, the more complex, the better, because it's a challenge, but not really. Like, working isn't work anymore. It's when my phone rings on a Saturday or I get an email, okay, let's go. Like, open up my laptop. I'm happy to work on it because it's not work anymore. It's so crazy.
Right?
It's
See
so
what I mean?
crazy. Yeah.
And that's what I say to the team. Like, we talk about it all the time. You got to love what you're doing. When you love what you're doing, everything gravitates towards you. All these deals come your way. Everything comes your way. You're happy. You're lighter. And everybody seems to think you need to work so hard. Like, one thing yesterday I had said to Zervain was, I was testing out salsas and guacs for the Cinco de Mayo.
Okay, yes.
So, and in between I had 3 escalations. So I'm escalating files for the team. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be in the office to do all this stuff.
Right.
So I was teaching the kids. Zervain's like, oh my gosh, today was psycho. You were teaching the kids in the morning. You were doing art. You were escalating files. You were doing this. You were doing that.
Testing block.
Right? It was crazy. But I love it. Yeah, but I love this life. And I said to Zervain, I said, do you remember 5 years ago? And you would remember because you were with me. I was in tears. Like, I was in an office, like the accountant said, you need to close shop. Like, this isn't going to work. And I'm like, I have a vision. Mm-hmm. Do you remember? I'm like, wow. I have a vision. Like, this is going to work. And he's like, so I fired him and I got another accountant.
See you later.
I'm like, you know what? You're done. Mm-hmm. We argued at the table and I got back into the office and Dee's like, I believe in this, Carm. Like, you can do it. Don't worry. Just keep doing it. And I thank God.
Wow.
Because, and you could put that picture up where the guy's digging and there's like diamonds right behind the wall.
Yes.
I felt that that's where I was. And you know how you're like, it's going to happen. Christian, it's going to happen.
It's happening.
It's going to happen, right?
Yes.
And that's why with you, I was like, I've already been through that, Christian. I won't let that happen to you, right?
Oh.
So I'm like, when you started, you were like, I don't know. And I'm like, Christian, I promise you, I will never let you drown. I already went through the drowning. I'm not going to let any team lead, anybody on my team drowned. I don't want that happening to them because I've been there, right? So if I can financially assist all my age, I would, right? I would help them get to the next level because they have the capability of doing that. Right? And you did not imagine what would happen.
it's unbelievable. It's crazy. And, going from working full-time for so many years to this, no matter what position you're in, it's always going to be scary. And what I kept telling myself, every self-employed person and every business owner has gone through this before.
100%.
But it's pushing through, and I'm so grateful I did because I'm helping more people. And not only that, so before, nothing against the banks. Like, they're fabulous.
Oh, but they're done that. I worked for the bank, yeah.
But when you're learning and you're being coached, right, it's clients don't need to go to a broker, right? If they're going to get approved here, they're getting the best of the best. And I'm not that I was brainwashed with that by any means, but now being on this side, I have access to that lender in addition to so many more. And it's not always just the rate. Rate we can work on, right?
100%.
We can talk about, hey, you got this rate here, leave it with me. But sometimes it's the unique policies, and I hate the word policy, but it's all around, okay? Can't avoid it. And sometimes it's more strategic to send you to X lender instead of another one that are both great because of your unique situation. And
100%.
Now being on this side, I loved spending the time to actually analyze the situation and being able to strategically say, I got you. And then
actually say you got, like, I got you, and you do got, like,
right.
You have them. 99% of the time, you have them.
Right, absolutely.
Right? And that's the thing, like, I get excited about that, but I just think what you're building out in Fonthill's, and everybody's like, Fonthill, let's put a map of Fonthill. Like, it does exist.
It's all around the 406. I don't know what I'm doing here, but here we go.
But it does exist. But I remember going into Fonthill, and, like, I just want to say this experience. I'm like, I looked at Serene, I'm like, I really believe in Christian because I don't know this place. Like, I didn't even know Fonthill. And we were like, let's get an office space out there. I'm like, I really believe in, he's like, you really believe in Christian? I'm like, I do. I really believe in him because, and it was, it was all virtual. Like, we did a lot of this stuff virtual. You're like, I've got the perfect, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's go look at the office space. And it was perfect. Everything fell into place.
Yes, and I gotta give kudos to Mitch because he knew the person that had this location, and we went and it worked out.
Makes
so
it
kudos
happen.
To Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch makes it happen. And
yes.
and it's, you know what it is? It's, and you could see it's the team, right? Like, Mitch knew, he's like, I want to help. Everybody wants to help each other, right?
Can I talk about the group chat just for a second?
Yeah.
So there's a group chat here, and I'm all about communication, and there's so many things on there. And Carmen starts off every day with the most beautiful message. It's different every day, and she puts time into it, and what a nice thing to wake up to. It starts my day right, and I know everyone else is on the team.
They love it,
It's wonderful. But, let's say we get something, and it's unique or different. There's 47 others on that list that we can say, hey, here's the situation. Have you seen this before? And literally 20 people respond every time, and it's so
true. There's
that's
never,
not
like,
normal. Like,
it's not normal,
but
like 20
should be.
people. But what I said is, we talked about this yesterday, it's the paying forward.
Yes.
When you come in and you put your deals through, I don't take the 50%. I don't say, well, you're going to pay more. It's everybody helping each other. And I say, the next person that starts, you assist them. Right. So then it's your time. You're tithing your time, right?
Yes.
So it's in the Bible. I always say this. I'm like, I'm not a big Bible person. I'm like, you could take apart from every biblical, book out there, but it's tithing your time. Like, it's giving your time to the team because the next person coming in. So now you know all this, and then somebody starts, and I'm like, hey, Christian, can you help? You're going to want to help.
Right. Absolutely.
Because nobody touched your pay. Nobody touched anything. It was just as if everybody wants to help, but they want to help on their own.
Right.
That's what's beautiful about it is they're like, I had yesterday, today, Sarah on the team. Sarah, I freaking love you. But Sarah on the team was like, I'll help for free. Let me do it. I want to help for free. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot of work though. Like, you really want to do that? No, I do. I want to help him. Like, let me help him. And I'm like, I was like in tears this morning. So I'm like doing my makeup. I'm like, oh my God, I fixed this. So
I did a little makeup too.
I love
just a little.
Yeah, but Christian, you're the best. So, but Sarah, like, she did that. And that's what I'm saying. Down to, like, everybody, like people in Mississauga, London, they all do it. They all want to help, right? And I noticed we had a Fonthill gathering, which I should get you involved more, Jamie. I'm so sorry. I should have had him involved. But we had a Fonthill gathering.
It was fun.
The Cinco de Mayo, we got you involved, though. Yeah, so, but the Fonthill gathering, all your team, like, people brought stuff.
It was amazing.
I was like, oh my
wine.
God, this is amazing.
Not wine.
You had people, not wine. But no, it was beautiful because I'm like, oh my God, they all want to help. And it's the same team mentality, and I love it. So, if you're in Fonthill, Niagara Falls, what are the other
anywhere, Welland, St. Catharines, Grimsby, anywhere really.
Yeah, and you want a team dynamic, you want a great team leader, give us a call, give Christian a call. We'll put his contact info here. We'll put his contact info. But if you have any questions, concerns, anything you want to, put in the on the commentary or the DMs, you're more than welcome. I will get back to you. I'm not on social media hardcore. Jamie is, though. So Jamie will answer. But Christian, before we sign off,
yes.
Any advice? What is like the one advice you give out all the time?
All the time? Honestly, I said it before. Like, I have a few things that I always say. But, embrace your strengths, times them by a million. Understand your differences. Light air and always be you. That's what I always say. It comes out naturally, but that's my advice. Awesome. We can dive in deeper later.
Yeah, so contact Christian. We'll put his contact info. Great team lead out in the Niagara area. I'm going to say Niagara area. I think that's
okay. Niagara's perfect.
Yeah. So for everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in to my team. You guys are awesome. I'm so blessed to have you. All right, peace.
Okay, now, from the beginning.